Busy is good. That's what people say. But there's some vagueness that has to be elaborated on in that saying, and we've got to constantly take a small bit of time in our daily life to reflect on whether or not that busyness is going towards something meaningful, or if it's merely a way for us to feign productivity under the guise of a packed schedule. It's been a little over 2 weeks since my last upload. Normally, I'd upload once every week, and I just started a new series called Backlog Bonfire, which is still on its first episode. Today, I'd like to explain the reasoning behind the break, where the new series is gonna go, and the future of this channel as a whole. So if you've been here from the start, which was about 4 months ago, you probably already know why I made this channel in the first place. But for anyone who's new, to put it simply, this channel serves as another creative outlet for me. Keyword being another, because throughout running this channel, I don't think I've ever mentioned the various pursuits I've been dabbling into. Here's the summary. I've graduated university, but I'm currently still working a full-time job, which I've had all throughout my university years, aside from doing YouTube. And recently, there's been other plans of taking on the role of steering the ship for a separate business that I won't go into the details of. So my workload is slowly increasing, which is a good thing, but willpower can only get you so far, and prioritization becomes the main theme of each day when deciding which avenues you'd like to spend your finite time on. And that's only the main job part of things, quote unquote. As in, of course, I'd have other activities like socializing and going out with friends, going to the gym, other exercises like badminton, volleyball, and so on. Not to mention, I'm also a human being capable of being fatigued, both mentally and physically, so I'd need some alone time for myself as well. Whether that's in the form of gaming without recording, watching anime, or pursuing my passions like this channel, or hobbies like learning musical instruments. But if we're talking about productivity and self-development, I'm also trying to enrich myself by reading books about philosophy, money, and even trying to learn coding little by little. As for the grander goal I have currently, it's my small project of writing a book, which has been keeping me busy lately. I'm about 60 to 65% done with it, and I'm setting a self-goal for myself to at least have it finished and published before next year. Whilst all of this is happening, my older sibling just came back home for a short 2-week vacation, which also explains my temporary 14-day disappearance from this channel. At first, I thought about at least putting out a community post or something, because even though my channel is still very small in size, I still would like to appreciate any of the viewers who actually tune in to watch these videos I make. But I was worried that if I were to announce any sort of break, there might be a risk of me wanting to close the door and looking at that as an excuse to drop YouTube permanently, which is not what I want. Throughout the past 2 weeks, I've been spending time with family and also a new friend group that I've grown to be fond of. From my very first video, I've talked about the falling out with the previous group of friends I've known for about 5 to 6 years, give or take. And recently, after I've started to assimilate with a new circle, my perspective and mind has been opened up a lot, and I've learned a lot of things and overall really appreciate the existence of this new environment, which brings a lot of positivity and productivity into my life. Something I thought the previous circle provided, even though at the end of the day, when push came to shove, they didn't have my back at all and resorted immediately to ostracization to protect their own peace. With all the different moving parts currently serving as its own individual cog in my everyday waking life, I've slowly found myself being overwhelmed. Because even though at the start it all served as a jump start to help me build momentum and just get off my ass and start doing things, over time I found that I've taken on perhaps a little too much and might have to take a step back and reassess which ones truly demand my attention. Which brings us to the discussion of this channel. I'll stick to my weekly uploads, but I might put a hold on the new series, or maybe not give it a strict upload schedule and only put out a new video for that series whenever it feels right. Because not only is uploading a full hour separately outside of my weekly uploads a task in itself, but with all the other things happening, it can start to sap my creative energy, and I also need to continue my book writing project. Once that's done, I might be able to provide more attention to the channel. And it's not that I'm being ungrateful for all the kind words and support you've given me thus far, but I also know that at the very least, if I focus more on my book, then at least by the end of this year, there will be a tangible result. Whereas this channel is still very much in its infancy, and I'm not likely going to gain anything significant yet right now. Anyway, this isn't meant to be a ranting session, but if you're struggling to find a direction to walk towards, or just feel a little lost, at times it can be really eye-opening to just take a break, spend time with your loved ones, give that invitation a solid try before you judge any ulterior motives other people might have, because sometimes the connections you've been looking for all this time might just be a carrot on a stick dangling right in front of your face. And as for the new series, after uploading that pilot episode, I've been faced with a dilemma of wanting to continue and play the games I have on my backlog, but also carrying the guilt of whether or not I should record it and turn it into a video while I'm at it. But I've come to a conclusion that even thinking about it is a losing game, because therein comes the other arguments like, should I record the whole thing and keep it raw like the first video? Should I record the entire session but only edit out the highlights or important parts of the game? Which will also increase workload and risk me backtracking into my previous perfectionist mindset of, are there more edits we can add? And end up not uploading the video at all, or using it as an excuse for fatigue. But what if it's not as consumable, with the important parts, quote unquote, being potential spoilers for those who haven't played it? And there are various other voices playing tug of war in my head when I'm thinking about it. So for now, what I've settled on with that series is to maybe just create one video out of each game I play. So for instance, with the previous one being gameplay of FF7 Remake, I might put out another 1 hour video of the backlog bonfire once I finish that game and move on to a different one. At least that's where my head is at currently, since with that plan, I'm able to at least space out the uploads for that new series a little bit more, instead of rushing myself to put out an extra 1 hour video a week, which might also cause it to suffer in terms of quality and end up just being another rambling session with no clear agenda. I guess if I were to reflect on what I've gained from dipping my foot into different pools from the start of this year, it's that once you've dipped into a handful of different bodies of water, you should also not forget to identify which ones you'd like to dive deeper into in order to avoid having multiple different projects but only progressing each of them at a surface level basis, which in the long run won't bring you any visible results or even satisfaction for that matter. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoy it, and if you made it all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. If you liked the video, like the video. If you want to see more of this type of content, click the subscribe button. And I've been really pondering a lot about this channel and of course all the other pursuits and avenues and endeavors that I've been dipping my foot into, but I think that having these reflections every now and then will help keep me grounded and I guess provide a chance for me to step out or just step back for a second and look at it from a different perspective and see where I want to take this channel and all of the various other things that I'm currently doing. So yep, that's it for the video today, and I'll see you next week with the weekly videos. I probably won't be uploading a backlog bonfire yet because I'm currently trying to finish off Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is not done yet. And after that, we might be able to continue to the next game, or I might take a short break, not a break from YouTube, but a break from grinding my backlog and playing something low commitment like Monster Hunter or MMOs and whatnot. But yeah, I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching, and yeah, bye bye.